The Democrats are self-destructing. In this video, we're going to take a look at the burgeoning civil war between the Marxist radicals in the House and the moderates, well, at least so-called, in the Senate. We're going to see how this clash is but the latest in a growing civil war among factions on the left. And stick with me at the very end of this video when I'll show you polling that promises disaster for the future of the Democratic Party. You're not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone, patriots all across the globe. Dr. Steve here with you. Great to be with you. As always, I am your daily fake news antidote, offering patriotic analysis to help you to think better so you can feel better in these crazy and turbulent times. If you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Before we jump into things here, as you know, I have the absolute honor of sharing the stage with the one and only Donald Trump Jr. on October 8th and 9th in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm just so thrilled to be partnering with the American Freedom Tour and speaking alongside the likes of Kayleigh McEnany and Dinesh D'Souza and Dan Bongino and many more patriots you know and love. And guess what, gang? For those of you who have already clicked on the link below to register, we are drawing 5 winners this weekend who are going to have dinner with me and my team in Jacksonville. It's going to be so awesome. We're going to announce the winners on Monday. So if you have not clicked on the link below to register, you've literally got hours to be entered into the drawing. So don't wait. Click on that link below and join me for dinner and for a weekend you'll never forget with patriots all across the country in Jacksonville. Can't wait to see you there. All right, let's dive right in here, okay? You know, there are a few things that I agree with Chris Wallace on. Wallace, of course, is the insufferably liberal and arrogant Trump-hating anchor of Fox News Sunday. He loves to harp on Trump's supposed threats against democracy, all the while coddling leftist lunatics like Pelosi and Schumer. But regardless, I have to say that I do agree with him and his assessment of the current state of the Democrat Party. Wallace made an appearance on America's Newsroom, speaking with anchors Bill Hemmer and Dana Perino about the Democratic Party's ongoing struggle to reach a consensus on both the infrastructure bill and the accompanying $3.5 trillion reconciliation package. Now, as I'm sure you know, as of the making of this video, the Democrats are in total disarray over the $3.5 trillion so-called infrastructure bill. In the House, Pelosi is trying to quell a mass revolt among renegade Marxists, the far left of her party, who are demanding that the spending spree go full-blown socialist with all kinds of Green New Deal nonsense. And in the Senate, both Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema have said that they're not under any circumstances going to support a $3.5 trillion spending bill. So basically, what you have here are House liberals fighting with Senate moderates. And now that Congress has passed a continuing resolution to keep the government funded until early December, Pelosi basically no longer has any leverage over the House radicals to keep them in line. If there was no resolution passed, Pelosi could hang a government shutdown on the champagne socialists of the squad, right? You know, Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar, and the like. If they're digging in their $1,000 heels over all this socialist spending and Green New Deal idiocy that they want, including the infrastructure bill, then Pelosi can threaten them with pinning the shutdown on them. Get in line or become the scapegoats. But now that the continuing resolution has been passed, she can't do that anymore. She's got no leverage. And so this civil war that's erupted within the Democrat Party between the hardcore Marxists in the House and the moderates in the Senate, it's got no terminus point. It could keep going and going in perpetuity. And so you just going to have this chaotic civil war going on. And that's where Chris Wallace comes in. On the show, America's Newsroom, Wallace was asked why Republicans weren't doing anything here. Why weren't they getting involved in any of this? And he said, quote, yeah, why would they get involved? You know, when your enemy is self-destructing, or opponent in this case, I guess, is self-destructing, stay out of the way. And I think Chris Wallace is absolutely right here. I can't believe I'm saying it, but he is. Well, a broken clock is right twice a day, right? The Wall Street Journal is pointing this out. What you basically have before you is the most radical leftist agenda the nation has ever seen, and yet there's not even a semblance of a mandate to pass such a leftist legislation. I remember the Republicans almost won control of the House in November. There is no leftist mandate by any stretch of the imagination. And both Manchin and Sinema, right, both from conservative states, otherwise rather solidly red states, they both recognize there's no way in hell that voters are going to forgive this kind of radically reckless spending. And so they together are putting a halt to this. But all they're doing, I think, at the end, is they're prolonging a civil war inside the Democrat Party. A civil war between the growing far-left Marxist faction and the remaining old white bougie neoliberal faction. And there's no compromise between the two, at least not as of the making of this video. There certainly doesn't appear to be. But it's not just this outrageous spending bill. The Democrats are starting to tear themselves apart in all kinds of ways. It's even happening in the mainstream Marxist media, right? I mean, when the ultra-left Paul Krugman starts calling out Democrats, centrists or moderates like Manchin and Sinema, I mean, you know the party is going down. And along with that, I did a video last week on the leaders of the New York City chapter of BLM, Black Lives Matter, coming out and declaring vax mandates are racist. You are going to absolutely want to check out that video. It's going to make your day. I'll make sure to I'll put a link down below for you in the pinned comments section so you can watch it after this one. What I do is I take a deep dive into what's really underneath this escalating civil war within the Democratic Party. You're not going to want to miss it. But for our purposes here, all you need to know is that according to BLM, the vax mandates that for people like, late night clown Stephen Colbert, the pinnacle of fidelity to left-wing causes, those mandates are now racist. They're being used to enforce systemic racism in our society. And in that video, I noted how this uprising by BLM, this backlash against vax mandates, is actually part of the larger picture, the unraveling the Democrats and the political left. So, for example, back during the presidential campaign, the co-founder of the Black Lives Matter chapter in LA, Los Angeles, her name's Dr. Melina Abdullah. She came out and stated unequivocally she would not be voting for Joe Biden for president under any circumstances. Because as far as she was concerned, Biden was an entrenched part of what she calls a violent white supremacist system. She said, quote, "People are feeling dismayed that the choices are between, a violent white supremacist on the one hand and another person who represents that same system." Now, you got to let that hit you. For a number of BLM leaders, Joe Biden is no different than Donald Trump. Trump is a supposed white supremacist, but Biden is every bit a part, indeed an entrenched part, of a violent white supremacist system. In other words, what you're hearing here is a major founder of a Black Lives Matter chapter now going after her fellow left-wing liberals who happen to be the wrong color, okay? That's called a Democrat civil war. And it gets even worse. Wait until you see this latest poll that just came out showing Biden losing support among Democrats. But first, let's pay some bills around here. If you're looking to lose a few lbs, you're going to love Keto Elevate if you want the benefits of elevated ketone levels, but without actually having to do all the difficult parts of the keto diet, like cutting the carbs and the breads and the like. Then you're going to love Keto Elevated. Use it myself. Tastes great. Curbs my appetite for hours. And if you click on that link below right now, you're going to get your very first shipment of Keto Elevate on its way to you right now at a whopping 51% off the regular price. So don't wait. Click on that link below and reap the rewards that Keto Elevate can bring to your life today. All right, gang, check out this latest Morning Consult poll. It found that Biden's approval rating has dropped nearly 20 points among blacks since he announced his draconian and unconstitutional vax mandate. According to the poll, Biden's approval has dropped a stunning 17 points among black voters just over the last few weeks. And the Morning Consult poll noted that given the historic low turnout among blacks in midterm elections, this drop in support could be nothing less than an utter disaster in 2022 for the Democrats. And again, gang, it keeps getting worse. According to Rasmussen, President Trump is officially trouncing Biden in a 2024 rematch, right? Rasmussen polling found that were the presidential election held today, Trump would literally stomp Biden by 10 points, 51 to 41%. And the icing on the cake here is how many Democrats would leave. They would defect. According to the poll, 1 in 5 Democrats would switch and vote for Trump. Biden is actually hemorrhaging 20% of his base in this poll. So make no mistake, Democrats are self-destructing at the moment, and it promises to get even worse with every passing week. And I, for one, am ready to butter the popcorn and enjoy the implosion. Now, before you go, you will definitely want to check out that latest video I talked about on the BLM revolt against vax mandates. You are not going to want to miss that. So make sure to click on the link, and I will see you over there. God bless.